volume. Okay, so take two. All right, everybody, we're here and we're live. And I think we're actually live this time with Billy Sherwood, my friend, who was kind enough to join me for a little chat and some hanging out. And yeah, it's awesome to have Billy here. We're gonna talk to everybody on Facebook and YouTube land for about 10 minutes or so, and then we're gonna bring it back to my Patreon, where I will allow some questions to be asked. And yeah, so definitely check out the Patreon. The link will be in front of you, so you can join us for the whole chat and have your chance to ask questions. So welcome, Billy.
Hey, man. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me, man. This is an amazing thing to be able to do. I really appreciate it, man.
We all learned a little bit about the technology to do these kind of hangs and everything in the lockdown period.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we started doing a lot of streaming and started this Patreon thing, and it's been a lot of fun. And it's
Right on.
been actually really cool connecting with friends, music makers. It's been awesome. So great to
That's
have
great.
you here, man.
Right on. Well, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I guess we can start off by allowing you to fill us in on what's going on. I know that you've been really busy with all your various projects, and I'm sure everybody watching this knows who you are, but I'll just say that Billy is an awesome producer. We've worked a whole lot together on a lot of albums that he's produced, and multi-instrumentalist, an awesome singer, and maybe a lot of you know your work with Yes. These past many years. And I got to tell you before we get into things that, I think the first time I heard your music and what you do was the first World Trade album.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of these albums that I really, really loved. And I kept it on, I would play it a lot because I thought it was great. And there was a period of time where I was having trouble finding it. Like I didn't have the vinyl anymore. And I was like, well, now I got to try to find a CD or whatever. And I finally, it's released again, and digital platform.
Yeah.
So it's there. But I really, really love that. And then I, of course, understood from the sound how, your upbringing into the whole Yes thing, kind of spiritually, musically, all fit together. So it was cool to watch you kind of, meld into that whole world.
The evolution of things. I know that was a really
yeah.
important record in terms of the migration into the Yes sphere. And actually, Squire had heard those demos before we'd even hit the studio, and sent a message to me through Derek Shulman, who was the lead singer of Gentle Giant, as we know him, but he was also a very big sort of record industry mogul guy, and he introduced Chris and I, and we became fast friends, and I actually had Chris sing on a song on that record called "Sense of Freedom," which was a real cool thing to have him in the studio. And yeah, it's just a really important record, and I'm very proud of that record for many reasons. And it's one of those moments in time you look back and go, that's why that happened.
Oh yeah.
Right. Pretty trippy.
Yeah. And you never know in life what's going to happen. You just keep on putting out the energy, and amazing things can just kind of happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate and blessed in that I got to join and become a member twice now of my favorite band of all time. So
yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah. Let's see. The first time did you play more guitar than the second? And the second time, of course, you were having to fill in on bass.
Through Open Your Eyes and the Ladder, I was basically the rhythm guitar player. I played some leads on the stuff that Steve wasn't really interested in playing on, the Raven era stuff. And so I got to spread my wings a little in that regard and play some solos. But I was there to serve the band and just do the best I could to inject some energy into it and propel it forward at a
Yeah.
at an interesting time because I had just finished actually producing Keys to Ascension 2. And just as I was mixing that record, Rick Wakeman quit the band again.
Oh no.
And so
Yeah.
they were kind of disjointed and fracturing and splitting up again. And
Right.
I looked at Chris sitting in my studio, and I said, I've known you guys a long time. I can't just sit here and watch this thing end. So let's take the initiative and see what we can do. And it worked out. But
Mm.
yeah, playing guitar through those 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. But I never in a million years imagined playing bass with Yes, and replacing Chris, because we all thought Chris was going to outlive us all. He was
Right. He
just
just
that
seemed
kind of
like he was
guy.
like a tank, like this.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
big shock and a very moving, emotional
Right.
part of
Right.
life there. But
Of course.
when he
Yeah.
asked me to do it, there was no way I was going to say no. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And,
Right.
uh,
Of course. The music
it's
means so much to
it's
you.
hard to fathom now. It's I've been doing it for 6 years now. It seems like I just started yesterday doing that, but it's
Wow.
been quite a long time now. And
Yeah.
life has moved
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Pretty
It
much.
must be awesome to put yourself in the headspace of those Chris Squire bass lines because he was
There's
so unique. He not only had the quality of his sound, but also his choices of notes. He wasn't the kind of bass player that just played. He always moving and playing his own little melodies that happened to include one of the notes within the chord. And I mean, it's just a great. I love that. It was so influential to
exactly.
me, but to you know,
Yeah, I mean, I tell the story that, the earlier bands I was in, they would always just, if they were playing in G, they'd get irritated with me and say, "Can't you just play a freaking G?"
right, right, yeah,
And I
yeah,
would say,
totally.
"Well, but Chris wouldn't do that. And he did
Right.
it pretty
Yeah.
successfully. So why don't we try this?"
Yeah.
you know.
Right. Like, yeah, what
But
about the
yeah,
root?
it's funny, and I think you'll relate to this on a keyword level. But for me, Chris, the composition is what makes him who he was. As, for instance, Keith Emerson's voicings and his choice of notes
Right.
made
Yeah.
Keith stand out in his way amongst other
For
great
sure.
keyboard players. And
Yes. Yes.
there are
Absolutely.
those guys who are just thinking about the chords in such a unique
Yes.
way, and
You're
it's
right.
really
You're right.
it's an honor to play all that stuff. And there's certain moments on stage that just hit me, and I can't help but get these waves of emotion because they're just tied into these
Oh,
amazing bass parts.
yeah. Yeah. I remember when Dream Theater went on tour with Yes. We did like a summer, I think it was, and we just, went to all
Right.
these different venues, and were
Yeah.
playing first, and then Yes, we'd close the show. And when we were done, every night I would go out to the audience because I had to listen to it because they were playing all of Close to the Edge, and Close to
Yeah.
the Edge was like my favorite album of all time. Like I would
Yeah.
listen to it every night after the show to sit there and go, "Wow, this is so
Yeah.
cool."
And then the other thing for me is, like, I mean, I've known these guys for a long, long time now.
Yeah,
Uh, but it still trips me out when I look over and your lead guitar player Steve Howe. It's like, that's a cool band to be in. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but the other thing that happened while we were on tour with Yes is that I always loved his lap steel playing,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Playing all
yeah,
these amazingly beautiful melodies, and I dreamed about like kind of
yeah,
how to do that. So first of all, I developed some instruments with some programmers that you could kind of do the sliding thing. But beyond
yeah.
that, I really wanted to play the actual thing. I play a little
Right,
bit of guitar, but I
right.
wanted to play like the lap steel. So I hit him up for a lesson a couple of times. So I would walk up on sound check while they were doing. He would show me a little bit about what he was doing, and
Yeah,
then I loved it so much. I was crazy enough to think that I could do it a little bit. So I bought a lap steel and I ended up learning how to play it while I was laying down the track for this song called Octavarium for Dream
oh
Theater.
yeah,
I brought it
yeah.
in. I'm literally sitting there like trying to play it in tune. I must have done it 100 times until I finally got it. Oh, yes, that's the sound. That's it. And then I brought
Yeah.
it on tour and then I played it every night. I got good at it and I haven't played
Uh,
it since. But,
Oh, that's
you know,
cool. It's a fun
but
instrument
that,
to play. And
right. It's
I
not that
have
easy though.
it isn't. I
Yeah.
have a couple of them, and I love turning to it to do unusual solos, and or create unique sort of. One of my favorite things is to create like chords by dropping the ebow over the pickup and just kind of rolling the
Nice.
you
Oh,
know,
that's nice. Yeah,
and you get a
you're more
really nice.
advanced than me. Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
it's
think
it's a
you,
great
you,
instrument, but
yeah.
Steve's broke the mold by using that in such a definitive way. I mean,
Right,
the stuff on
right.
Awaken and Close to the Edge, as you said, and it's just incredible. Just incredible
Yeah.
stuff.
What was interesting to me about that, the way he played that, was that, he had this particular sound on the guitar that everybody knows. It's the Steve Howe unique kind of sound. But then when he played the lap steel, it was almost like a different musical beast coming in, if you will, because he
Yeah,
could play
yeah,
these luscious, soaring, smooth melodies, which was not so much what he was doing on the guitar. He played amazing things. It was all classic and means so much to all of us. But when he
yeah.
expressed a melody on the lap steel, it was like the sky is opening up, and everybody should start to pray or something, because it's just so those moments.
One of my favorite things to play is going for the one, with him down and down and down. It's just like this rock and roll
Right,
attitude
that's cool.
played
Yeah.
on the steel. It's just such a cool twist on a rock thing.
Right.
It's really
That's
cool.
the other side of it. Hey, we're going to actually say goodbye to our YouTube and Facebook people, and we're going to switch to Patreon only. So definitely come and join us. The link for that is right in front of you, and there you'll be able to follow through with our conversation, ask questions, and nice to see everybody. Everybody stay safe, and we will all see you on the road at some point in the not too distant future. We're gonna
Yes.
be all of us are hitting the road, literally with
Yeah.
yes. But okay, so we're making the switch now.
Okay.
Okay, we're doing the switch over, literally canceling out on Facebook and YouTube.